English Listening Test. Part 4. Designed for B2 learners. This test consists of 20 questions which are divided into 4 parts. I will give you a short instruction at the beginning of each part. Before we get started, take a pen and paper so you can take notes while listening. Are you ready? Let's get started. Part 1. Listen to the conversation and be ready to answer the true or false questions.
Frank Smith?
Grace Johnson in Sao Paulo? I don't believe it. Hey, you haven't changed a bit.
Neither have you.
Oh, come on now. I used to have more hair, didn't I?
Well, now that you mention it,
So, how have you been? What brings you to Sao Paulo?
I'm here on vacation. You too?
Do I still look like a tourist? I live here.
You're kidding. How long have you been living here?
For 2 years.
Really? What do you do here?
Well, I'm studying Portuguese and I've been teaching English since last fall. How about you?
I'm an architect.
Hey, not bad.
And you're not going to believe this. I'm still living in Stanford.
No kidding.
My husband's on the faculty at Stanford University.
How long have you been married?
For 4 years.
Is your husband here?
Yes, he's back at the hotel, resting.
Gee, I haven't been back to Stanford in years, not since we graduated. Has it changed much?
Oh, not that much. You'd still recognize it. You know, it's great seeing you again. I've really lost touch with everyone from back then.
So have I. Let's keep in touch.
Listen, why don't we go get some coffee somewhere?
Oh, I'd like to, but I've got to get going. I teach at 4. But how about dinner? You and your husband can meet me after my class.
Sounds great.
Have you been to Paulista Avenue? It's very famous.
Not yet.
Well, I haven't been there in ages, so why don't we go there?
I'd love to.
Do you want to meet there at 8 o'clock?
Sure. See you then.
True or false? Part 2. Listen to 5 people talking about their family trees and match the speakers with what they mention. There is one extra name which you don't need to use.
How well do you know about your family tree, Jose?
I have a good understanding of my family tree. I know we have ancestors from Sweden and England, and I know we've traced it back, I think, to the 1500s for some of the lines.
Have you ever delved into it?
I haven't personally done a lot of research about my ancestors. I know we have the books and we have the stories and the journals, and it's all there. So I guess I'd be interested to know a little bit about what my ancestors did before they came to America. Because I think they were farmers. I'm not entirely sure.
How much do you know about your family tree, Alice?
You know, I know a little bit about my family tree because I was lucky enough to grow up with having great-grandparents in my life until about, 9th grade. So I know a lot from them, and they told me a lot of stories about their parents and grandparents, but it doesn't go much further than that. And that's only on my dad's side. I know about, immigration from Russia, but that's all I know. And then my mom's side, I really don't know a lot about, but it's something that I'm interested in looking into.
Have you ever researched it?
I've tried to research it a little bit, like doing the Ancestry.com thing, but, I haven't really gotten much further than that.
Is there anyone in your family that you'd like to know more about?
I'd love to know more about my great-grandmother's grandmother, so I guess that would be my great-great-great-grandmother.
How much do you know about your family tree, Lillian?
I know a little bit because, my dad's done some research into his Cornwall. My great-great-grandfather went down on the Titanic. Interesting piece of family history. And we've got some family artifacts for that.
Is there anyone in your family that you'd like to know more about?
Probably the wife of the man who went down with the Titanic. I think she had quite an interesting and difficult life. She had a baby. Brought it up by herself, so sounds like an amazing woman.
How much do you know about your family tree, Nancy?
I actually know quite a bit about my family tree on my dad's side. I don't know very much about my mom's side.
Have you ever researched it?
Yeah, my dad actually has done a lot of research, and he can trace us all the way back to the Mayflower.
Is there anyone in your family that you'd like to know more about?
I would like to know more about my mom's side. Her father was adopted, so there's a lot we don't know.
Joshua, how much do you know about your family tree?
I know quite a lot because a relative of my father's, did some research on our family tree, about 20 years ago. So, well, I know that my father's family is from Luxembourg, and, in fact, when I worked there, I tried to get in touch with some distant relatives, but they weren't interested.
Is there anyone in your family that you'd like to know more about?
Well, guess what? It's precisely those relatives who are still living in Luxembourg. But what can I do if they don't want to meet me? Oh, well, I guess it's just destiny.
Choose the correct option. Part 3. Listen to 5 people talking about their earliest memories. Match the speakers with what they talk about. There are 2 extra letters which you don't need to use.
One of my earliest memories is from when I was around 3 years old. I was at home with my mom, and I remember playing with individual plastic soda bottles, which I absolutely loved as a toy when I was little. Some people might think it's a boring toy, but I found it to be so much fun.
My earliest memory is of living in Malta when I was young and looking out of the window to see the grapevine and the veranda outside my bedroom window having been destroyed by a whirlwind that had just gone through the garden of the house. It hadn't touched the house itself, just taken out the veranda and the grapevine.
My earliest memory is my first day of school when I was about 5 because I was really nervous, and I forgot to tell the other people my name, so people were kind of confused.
My first memory is most likely from the local airport, but I have a suspicion that it is from there that I saw a picture of myself pushing a stroller. Therefore, it's challenging to determine if that is an actual memory or just a perception.
My earliest memory is walking on a beach with my family collecting shells. I somehow remember finding a piece of blue glass that had been worn smooth by the waves. When I showed it to my mom, she told me to keep it because it was such a pretty color.
Choose the correct option. Part 4. Listen to an interview about movie adaptations of books and be ready to answer the true or false questions.
If you're a regular moviegoer, you may have noticed the long list of movies that have been shown recently that are based on books. Yet, it can't be easy to turn literature into film successfully. Today we're going to take a look at the subject of movie adaptations, and we've invited movie buff Adam McKay into the studio to share his views with us. Hello, Adam.
Hi there.
Adam, what is it that makes a good movie adaptation?
Basically, it's finding the right balance between telling the original story while at the same time adding something new to it. If there are too many changes to the plot, the fans will get upset, but if the movie is too faithful to the original, they'll go away wondering why they bothered to see it in the first place.
Are you suggesting that the movie adaptation doesn't have to be 100% faithful to the book?
It isn't really a question of being faithful to the book. It's more a question of capturing the spirit of the original story. A good screenplay writer is one who understands the material and is able to pick out the themes, characters, and scenes that are most important. After that, it's a question of timing, deciding how much or how little emphasis to place on each of these things.
Apart from the balance and the timing, is there anything else that contributes to a good movie adaptation?
Well, once you've got the screenplay right, you obviously have to find the right actors for all the different roles. Casting is fundamental when it comes to movie adaptations since readers will already have an idea in their minds of what the characters are like.
Adam, now that we've established what makes a good movie adaptation, can you give us an example?
Actually, I can give you more. The 3 movies that make up the Lord of the Rings series, all of them have an exceptional cast, including renowned actors such as Elijah Wood, Ian McKellen, Liv Tyler, and Cate Blanchett. And the makers have been faithful to the J.R.R. Tolkien novels. At times, parts of the original narrative are read over the images that appear on the screen. At the same time, the timing is impeccable, as the movie focuses on what is truly important in the story. But the key to the movie's success is Peter Jackson's use of special effects, some of which had never been seen in film before.
What kind of special effects?
Take, for example, the character of Gollum, a creature created almost entirely by computer-generated images. You believe he's really there next to the real actors on the screen.
That's very true. How about giving us an example of a bad movie adaptation, Adam?
Again, I'm going to give you 3 movies, the Hunger Games series. The movies are hugely popular and have won several different awards. I think the casting is certainly excellent, and Jennifer Lawrence is superb as the central character, Katniss Everdeen. But I feel that the filmmakers have been a little too faithful to the books. Each movie tells the story in the exact order that it happens in the original, which, to me, makes the plot seem flat. There is little use of timing, so the key scenes aren't given enough emphasis. On top of this, I don't think there's really anything new for the readers. Even the color and flamboyance of the capital come as no surprise because it is depicted just as it is in the book, which I found disappointing.
That's a shame because all 3 of the books were excellent. Adam McKay, thank you for joining us today.
My pleasure.
True or false? Don't forget to share your score in the comments section. If you haven't taken our previous listening tests, the playlist link is in the description below. For more valuable content, subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications. See you in our upcoming videos.